let's have another look at a post on the Eternity site in Korea. So, Final Dance in Eternity. I think some of you might have noticed it as you saw the image. The subject of this development log is the Xanafiedlion, so the final boss of Gen 1 in Albi Dungeon in Chernanag. So, production background, Mabinogi is a project that has grown together with our militians for a very long time. As a game that has been in service for a long time, there have been many big and small changes in Eren. I think the part where you can feel the biggest change is combat. Accordingly, there is a significant difference in battle experience between past boss monsters and new boss monsters. Examples include the Xanafiedlion from Gen 1, Final Chapter, and Myr from the Brelith. So here you can see like the Xanafiedlion, and you can see the other boss that they're talking about. In Eternity, past boss monsters that appeared in the mainstream have been transformed to fit the latest Mabinogi battle grammar. We aim to provide battle content of a quality that will satisfy all militians. And this work began with the first boss monster that militians encounter after arriving in Eren, the Incarnation of Destruction, Xanafiedlion. So there's a cool image of him there. Battle formation. As a boss appearing in the mainstream, Xanafiedlion has many attractive settings. When reimagining the battle of Xanafiedlion in Eternity, the first thing that came to mind was to incorporate these settings into the battle. Xanafiedlion first encountered in the mainstream is summoned by Keyhole's plan. So here you can see like a mana ritual and the mana ritual gauge. So the main concept of Eternity Xanafiedlion battle is consciousness suppression. The militians arrived earlier than expected and had to wake the Xanafiedlion in an incomplete state during the ceremony. The militians' first objective is to fight this imperfect Xanafiedlion and stop the mana ritual in progress during the fight. So you want to stop that gauge before it fills up. And it looks like you can see that they're doing something with the gargoyle statues there. So those are actually going to be a part of it now. I tried to incorporate the settings into the background as well. Did you know that Xanafiedlion loves gold? The boss room, which serves as the battle stage, was designed to feel like gold, ore, and a ritual altar. So it looks like this is going to be the boss room. It's completely different now. It doesn't have that square shape anymore. It's more of a circle. And the gargoyle statues actually do something in the boss fight. So that's pretty cool. And they have that interesting design on the floor. And down here you can see the old boss room, what that looks like, the square shape with the gargoyle statues. So this looks a lot better. The gargoyle statues placed in Albi Dungeon boss room also have a role. In Eternity, it is deployed as a device to conduct the rituals and is used as an in-game gimmick. At this point, you will also be able to understand the purpose of the black beads. So yeah, this is what it looks like now, and the gargoyles don't really have a purpose. And this is what the gargoyle statues look like in Eternity. After struggling to stop the mana ritual and fighting the incomplete Xanafiedlion, you will enter Phase 2. Here too, we wanted to provide a new way of having fun in Eternity rather than simply moving the map and changing phases. You remember the beam firing pattern of the Gen 1 Xanafiedlion? So here they show off that move. Oh, and this is what it looks like in Eternity. Wow, that looks way better. After putting Eternity's imperfect Xanafiedlion in danger, it unleashes a powerful beam attack. In order to utilize the existing Xanafiedlion symbol pattern more dramatically in Eternity, I added several dramatic devices to compose the pattern. In this process, the Militians each created a battle flow that allowed them to respond to the patterns in different ways and disrupt them. So it looks like that's sort of like a interaction key, maybe pressing like the space bar, I think. It says space, and you can like stop the attack. It's kind of cool. Camera work that blends in with patterns that were not easily attempted in live performances cutscenes that naturally transition to phases after performing gimmicks, etc. We are exploring and trying out various methods to ensure that you can enjoy not only the combat gameplay, but also the visual presentation. I think this visual presentation looks great. This is a big upgrade from this. Like, if you compare these two images, you can clearly see the difference. This looks way more modern and way better. In Phase 2, you will battle Xanafiedlion, the reincarnation of destruction, who has regained his power through a mana ritual. There is a change in appearance as it awakens once to match the concept. In addition to the character mesh of Xanafiedlion, you can see an even more powerful appearance in-game with effects attached to the area around the Xanafiedlion's body. So, Xanafiedlion, the Incarnation of Destruction, original artwork. This is his original artwork. And then in-game, Xanafiedlion, the Incarnation of Destruction. So, yeah, this looks pretty cool. There's some amazing artwork here. Personally, I think it was cool when the bandages came off and the mask was torn, revealing what was hidden. Yeah, you can kind of see his eye right there. As he awakened as the Incarnation of Destruction, Phase 2 will proceed with the concept of burning everything. And they have a cool, like, portrait image here. And you can see all the houses and stuff burning. Seeing most of the fields on fire really gives you a feeling of fighting the very embodiment of destruction. We are also preparing boss patterns that we have not been able to introduce to you so that you can feel the setting of the boss monsters. We will do our best to ensure that you can experience authentic, immersive battles through Eternity, combining Mabinogi's uniquely engaging narrative and combat gameplay. So share your concerns. In addition to new combat content, Eternity is also preparing many combat-related improvements. Let me first introduce you to a few changes that were first applied to the Xanafiedlion. Battle of Xanafiedlion. First, there is a monster rotation. In Mabinogi, you can see the monsters bouncing around when they change direction. In Eternity, we've improved the way characters rotate directly to a different direction when their movement direction changes, making it look more natural. Okay, so we actually have two videos here. So this is what looks on Pleon Engine right now. Let's take a look at that. And this is what it will look like in Eternity. And that does look a lot better, so this will give you an idea of what to expect. Here, I'll play this one again. Secondly, there is the monster gaze. We also added an expression that guides it to the direction in which the boss is looking. I tried to structure the battles to make them feel more tense and threatening. It would be nice if this boss actually felt like a challenge again, instead of just like one-shotting him, because like that's what most can do. Like most can solo him and take him down in like 1 or 2 hits. In addition to this, we are considering various technical changes that can be incorporated into battles, and we will introduce them when the time comes. These technical changes are definitely something that can be done if possible. I think militians will definitely like it. The biggest concern is the change in planning. The skills shown in the Eternity test demonstration video revealed at the 2025 Summer Fantasy Party, as well as the common evasion skills, can be viewed with similar concerns. The same goes for convenience in battle, such as how about adding a ping system to Mabinogi, or how about a system where skills on a cooldown are shared in the party chat. Among these, the most difficult concern is the direction of the battle. How difficult should Mabinogi's combat content become? Would action-packed battles suit you better, or would a battle focus on cooperative gimmicks be more appropriate? What if we considered the combat designs that allowed for different contributions within a party without fixing the roles of tank, damage, dealer, and healer? Eternity is a project that aims to become a game that can bring together all militians who love Mabinogi. As mentioned above, we are looking back at the fundamental concerns and building up a solid foundation. So yeah, I think they're doing a really good job thinking about everything. I would personally like to see some more challenge in Mabinogi. I feel like a lot of the older dungeons and a lot of the older bosses just really aren't a challenge anymore, and that's kind of a problem. Like, the Glass Scavellin can be taken down solo in like 2 or 3 hits when you first start playing the game, and when you get to him, it's kind of ridiculous. And like the Armored Bear boss in one of the dungeons, like, he actually used to be a challenge 8 or 10 years ago, and now he's not. But this gives you an idea of what to expect for future boss fights in Eternity. Let's take another look at the Korean Eternity site. I need a boss room. A new boss room was revealed during this test. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, I'd like to talk about the process of creating it. Albi Dungeon and boss room with Glass Scavellin. There's the boss up there and the gargoyle statues. This new boss room is conceptually closely related to the Albi Dungeon and Glass Scavellin. So at the design stage, we tried to mix these two things. So you can see the different looks for the boss room that they have planned. It's going to be more round instead of square. It's going to be more of a circle. The overall concept was created by borrowing the gorgeous pillar design of Albi Dungeon, the design of the waterway flowing through the corridor wall, and the unique steel frame design of the boss room where Glass Scavellin appears, and creating a blueprint for what direction would be right. Of course, there were other things to consider besides these concepts. This boss room is divided into 2 phases, and in phase 2 the surrounding area had to collapse and disappear, so the design of the surrounding area had to be arranged with things that could move fluidly. and yet we had to fill in this large space. So it looks like this is probably going to be stage 1 with the gargoyle statues, because there's like a new mechanic for stopping the Xanafiedlion ritual involving the gargoyle statues that's talked about in the other post. So boss room, and entrance zone to go to the boss room. So this is really cool. You can kind of see like this is maybe an average room in Albi Dungeon. So the rooms won't always be square anymore, they can be more circular. And then there's a long hallway, and then like an entrance to a door, and then that leads into the boss room. So this is really cool looking. Although not actually deployed, the background was created to be divided into a maintenance area, a hallway, and re-entry zone. But doesn't the door to the re-entry zone resemble something? So yeah, it does look like the door that you find in Bangor Dungeon when you go to, in Berry Dungeon when you go to Turnanag. As you may have noticed, the door to the re-entry zone was built to have some connection to the door to Turnanag. Through this space you can meet the boss Xanafiedlion. So entrance seen from the front, this looks pretty cool. You can see some broken pillars here, and you can see like the big boss sword with the chains on it. So how should our Xanafiedlion change as he enters this dungeon? As you know, Xanafiedlion has already been reborn and applied in 2 new forms in live performance. The writing had to have a different design from the existing friends. So here we can see 2 images. These look pretty cool. Completed Xanafiedlion on the left and Ultimate Xanafiedlion on the right. I'm guessing this one is the left image and this one's the right. They're not really right next to each other. In this boss room, Xanafiedlion will change in phase 2. Oh, that one looks really cool. You can see how his mask is completely gone and you can see both his eyes. The original drawings for phase 2 of the script that were created in this way are as follows. So it looks like this is what they're going to go with for phase 2. Phase 2 original artwork. This dungeon was only revealed during this test, but you will be able to freely visit it after it opens. Here Militians will encounter the newly renovated Xanafiedlion and experience a new combat experience. So yeah, this looks pretty awesome. They're making a lot of changes to the way the final boss of Gen 1 works. So maybe he'll finally be a challenge again. Let's look at another Korean Eternity post about interactions with NPCs. So, because the live service has been ongoing for so long, it is not easy to consistently and meticulously manage every line of dialogue for so many characters. Sometimes a character's personality or speech pattern has changed over time, even passing through multiple writers. At the time of the update, lines that were consistently recognizable and amusing were now difficult to understand. There are more lines than you might expect that are out of date or contain memes that were popular only during a specific period. Unfortunately, there are some instances where dialogue itself contains errors. I wanted to see a variety of interactions for each keyword pressed, but some characters didn't have as many lines as I expected. If character A reacts to 20 keywords, it's natural to expect 20 reactions from the character B. Some characters have lots of lines, while others only respond to unknown keywords or even randomly output no lines at all for a single word, for a single keyword. It was always disappointing that some characters enjoyed the fun of discovering hidden reactions when certain conditions were met, while others didn't. I still remember the promise I made when I first established Melwyn in Dumbarton. Let's make her feel like a truly living character by adding various reactions based on the events she's experienced in Erin, the passage of time, and the circumstances and conditions of the Militians. I want richer interactions with my favorite and cherished NPCs. But do you know how many permanent NPCs are in Erin? People who welcome us all year round. Yeah, there are a lot of them. You can see that just by looking at the continent of Ulad, there are over 100 permanent NPCs welcoming the Militians. So how many travel journal keywords can we use to talk about one person? Recently, I've been trying to respond to around 30 keywords. Furthermore, I've been able to trigger multiple responses to a single keyword. And you only need to write lines for 100 people and 30 keywords and number of variations. It's not as easy as you think. I remember talking about how difficult it was to write over 100 gift lines during an NDC presentation. While it might be fine if you were writing lines for just 1 or 2 characters, writing lines for 100 characters to respond to the loot keyword eventually leads to limitations. Yeah, I mean, they're basically saying, like, there's so many responses to just one keyword in our journals, and there are lots of keywords, and since we have so many characters, it is a lot more difficult than it looks. Maintaining this daunting task during a live broadcast is even more challenging. Working on everything at once would be physically time-consuming. Dialogue requires meticulous thought and careful consideration, requiring meticulous repeated review. However, it's not possible to assign specific roles to certain individuals while others remain unrelated, because every NPC is someone's most precious and beloved. So yeah, I like how they're making every character, they're trying to make every NPC feel unique or different, so they're not just like copies of each other. Sometimes a line of dialogue is so long that it makes you suffocate, and now there's a chance to end the agony of wanting to just press enter. Above all, I was able to solidify this decision through discussions with fellow developers within the development team. Honestly, I just wanted to have more conversations with all the NPCs. I love the process of enjoying conversations with characters, getting to know the world of Erin better, and naturally blending in. Yeah, I think doing that will make the game feel more alive if each NPC is like unique and has their own thoughts on things. It's very fun to go talking to like NPCs about different topics and like hearing what their opinion is on things. Like, I like to ask NPCs what their opinions are on Dark Knights, if any of them even know anything at all. And it's interesting to get, like, all the different answers for that. So we've decided to completely rewrite all the characters' dialogue. We're enriching it by applying multiple variations to single keywords, ensuring even the most recent characters have the same amount of dialogue as those updated more recently. Beyond just the length, we're also applying common conventions to the overall dialogue text, making each page of dialogue much more readable. But as I was rewriting dialogue, I realized that the keywords in our travel journal also needed to be organized. There are some differences between how keywords are used in the travel journal now and in the past. In the past, keywords were typically obtained briefly during specific quests, used in conversations, and then later retrieved. Due to the structure of the live, it wasn't easy to track where each keyword was acquired and removed. Furthermore, in the past, quests, skills, and hints could only be acquired through these keyword conversations. With the numerous reorganization of growth paths and related content, these keywords are no longer used, but remain in the travel journal. So here you can see what the travel journal will look like in Eternity, and it looks like this is what they're going with for the interface for now. You can see the little menu down here on the UI. In Eternity, we're also renewing all the keywords you can use in conversation. We've redesigned a generous pool of keywords that NPCs respond to, and reorganized them so that pressing those keywords will yield interesting stories from anyone. We've also redesigned the timing for acquiring keywords, ensuring that no keyword can be lost if you miss a certain time. We are also refining the description of characters' appearances, which is unique to Mabinogi and introduced in a lyrical style as soon as the conversation begins. When it comes to character descriptions, some characters have very sensuous and rich introductions, while others are often overly brief. We're refining and selecting words that best capture the character's characteristics and personality, and we're working to ensure all sentences are of similar length. Of course, if we've used expressions that truly fit a character in the existing text, we're working to maintain the original text as much as possible while refining them. We're working hard to create a variety of conversations with these characters, but we need a more immersive device. Mabinogi's diverse characters all have detailed settings. It's a shame that we're the only ones who see these settings as mere planning documents. While organizing simple comments for each character in the 20th anniversary art book, I felt that it would be best to check in these things in game. So yeah, this looks pretty cool. I like the idea of keeping all the characters in Mabinogi unique and Aaron unique. It's nice to have lengthy conversations about certain topics with certain NPCs in the game. And I definitely don't want to feel like any NPC is useless. The NPCs that are the most interesting are the ones that have, like, personality. Alright, let's play Mabinogi today. So today's the last day of doing daily stuff. Like, we're gonna do the daily veteran dungeon. Gonna do like 2 vet dungeons today, some commerce, maybe some shadow missions, stuff like that, but tomorrow's gonna get pretty busy because the Cookie Island event is coming back, and also I can run my techs tomorrow, so there'll be a lot more to do then. I need to try and draw a Baltame pass. If I manage to get one, then Nowhere to Run will be the first thing that we do today. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna do Nowhere to Run today, because I can actually get a pass for that. Let's do some homestead work real fast, and then we're going to, actually, before I forget, I'm gonna switch to Forbidden Alchemist now. And then we're going to do Nowhere to Run. Maybe I'll use Adventure Seals to get a second pass and run it twice today, because we'll be getting a Forgetful Potion from the Pan's Attendance event. Like, I need the upgraded stats from leveling up Forbidden Alchemist. How many patches can I plant right now, or do I not have herbs? Okay, I need more white herbs, and then I need more mandrake to put down too. Yeah, so we're gonna have to do some farming here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have like 2 of every kind of herbs. We'll have 3 kinds of base herbs, three rows of base herbs, 2 of every other kind. And then since there's not really enough room, we'll only have 1 row of poison herbs, but that's okay. So poison herbs will be the only ones that I have a little bit less of. Not a big deal. Okay, so we got all the herbs from those. Let's plant some new patches here. We'll start with the white herbs. Well, that's all I have? Jeez. I thought I'd have more than that. Poison... Oh wait, mandrake. We can plant 2 of those, I guess. I think I'll be able to get one more white herb patch in. There. And then... another one of these patches down. So I need 60 more white herbs and like 34 more mandrake. Alright. Hang on, let's get out of here for a second. I'll use Xanafiedlion's homestead. To get some extras. You can also just find white herb patches in the Silva Forest by defeating, like, the hornets. But this is faster. Okay, I think I can get 8 herbs per patch this time. That's nice. Yeah, it's 8. Where are those herbs at, anyway? Poison are there, antidote are there. Wait, white herbs are here. Well, one of them are. Ah, let's do an inventory search. Okay, so we have enough mandrake herbs. And I need more white herbs. Where are the mandrake herbs at? Oh, they're all the way over there. I looked in that bag and I totally missed it. Maybe it's because most of the things in there are like a similar orangish yellow color. But anyway, more white herbs. Okay, I think that's enough herbs. Wait a minute, how many do I have in each row here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 3. 6 herb patches per row. Per line. Did I do more than that here? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Nope. Okay. So we'll get those white herbs planted first. And luckily I have not gotten homestead stone from the pile yet, so we can get another 10 and plant the rest of those mandrake herbs, and then finally the number one thing that's been consuming my homestead stone will be finished. Well, actually, that's not true. I still have to plant the mushroom stumps, so there's gonna be that too. But there's not gonna be very many of those. That back up there. So 2 more mandrake. And the herb garden part is actually done, so... Now, hazelnut and pine mushroom stumps. That's gonna take 9 homestead stone. How much is the hazelnut one gonna take? Okay, where is it? Maybe that's higher on the list here. Here we go. Oh, and that one takes 7. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna put mushroom stumps in the front, and then I'll leave like a small opening in the center to actually enter the herb area. And then that way there'll be lots of mushrooms and herbs and things that can be used. I think I have some spirit gems. All 5. There we go. 86. Alright, time for nowhere to run. So let's go to the Avalon Gate. And what better playlist to start with, because the first song on this playlist is actually the theme for Nowhere to Run. What kind of potions do I have? Like XP potions? It's the normal one? Alright, that's fine, I guess. And there's the pass. Use that too. Okay, we're not getting enough XP for this to be worth it anymore, so we'll check out the mission here. Like, I could probably go level up like 2 or 3 more times here if I really cared, but why bother? Let's get the gems on the ground and get out of here. Just gotta get anything that I missed. Or that the doll bag missed. Found a demonic dreamcatcher out here too, which was kind of nice. Oh, there's a sapphire out here and a ruby. Go after those. Alright, we're gonna retreat. And today is Wednesday, so we get the next Pan attendance rewards. I still want to call it the Urusan's attendance event, because that's what I'm used to for so long, but... Okay, where's that other box thing? I have interpret. Oh, here it is. Gonna use that today too. The important thing was that we got a forgetful potion. Where'd that go off to? Oh, that XP potion will help out too. Gonna use that next time, that'll speed things up a lot. Let's get another Baltane crystal, so we can do it again. Then we're gonna use the forgetful potion, reset the level to 1, and then do like shadow missions, get to level 60, and then jump in. But I don't see the forgetful potion. Oh, there it is. Let's use the XP fruit first. I don't even know how much it leveled up. I didn't pay attention to the level it was before I started. And where's that shadow mission crystal at? That should be like somewhere in here? Okay. Alright, let's get out of here. What kind of shadow missions do we have today? Warren's request. I'm not doing that. Waste of time. Other alchemists. Yeah, that should be enough. Let's go, Tara. I am not a big alchemist, so I don't really enjoy like missions that heavily rely on alchemy. What's the VIP one? Sulfur Spider? Yeah, okay. So we'll do the other alchemists. on Elite, and then I should be level 60 by the time I finish it. The two main arcana I use is Dark Diviner and Arsenal Gunner. So my main arcana before Arsenal Gunner was Dark Diviner, and I still like using that for commerce and tech missions because it has like longer range. But like I'm definitely using Arsenal Gunner a lot more for like a lot of other content like veteran dungeons and stuff. So they're kind of tied as like my two favorite ones right now. And the new Fighter Arcana actually looks pretty cool. Like, that's coming out, I think, like on February 12th in South Korea, so that one might become one of my favorites when it reaches the NA. They did a little showcase where they showed off some of the moves in a Korea live stream like a couple weeks ago. That was pretty cool. Oh, that guy is alive. This is the... Which one do I have active? I think I have this one. This is the Precious Pearling one. There are like 3 of them. Adorable Pearling and Precious Pearling. Little totem item you can activate and it changes your spell walk. But yeah, as a cat fan, I've always wanted to collect those. One thing I actually love about the interaction button that they added is it makes like these rooms so much easier. It was such a pain in the butt to like click on these orbs when like there was a golem laying right next to it or something like that. Makes these rooms a lot easier. And then there are 3 more rooms, so there's 1 more room over here, and then like 2 rooms way back there. Alright, this hall's done. One more hall of enemies, and then we can take down the boss. Those blinkers are always a pain in the butt to deal with. Never liked those enemies. Lose some attention with Crisis Escape, and then zap him. Uh-oh. He's gonna get me. Well, let's get near him, and then when that wears off, I'm gonna freeze him. Use a pet to like get him like that to stop him for a bit, then you can't just go right back in the air and hit you again, because sometimes they'll paralyze you, then they'll float back down, then they'll float right back up a second later. And we're not gonna worry about that room. Okay, no more blinkers. And now for the boss. So we'll take out the boss before we even enter the room. Just skim with a meteor like this. That was a little bit of a delayed effect. And some stats for leveling up Forbidden Alchemist. Very nice. How populated is Channel 4 right now? Because... okay, it is busy. Because, like, the meteor hit and then he took the damage, like, 5 seconds later. Yeah, it's very helpful being able to use it behind doors. Like back in the old days too, that was a good trick at Piaka Dungeon. Like if you died and got sent back to a goddess statue, and there were a bunch of ghosts in the room, instead of like going all the way back and going into that death trap of a room, just stand outside and use meteor. You can also use pet summons from the other side of the door too, and some pet summon effects will also like hurt the monsters if they're like really close to the door. I think the Chain Slasher talent really helped out for that, at least for me. Like, that's why I use the takedown ghosts most of the time if I don't have, like, Meteor available. Plus those boosts that fully recover, like, all your health and MP and stamina are also pretty nice. How much longer until that debuff wears off? 16 minutes? I don't want to wait that long. No, that's fine. I got that big XP potion. How long is that gonna last? 30 minutes? Okay, so I'm gonna go get a Nowhere to Run pass from Dumbarton, the Adventure Seal Shop. I'm gonna do that one more time. I mean, magic-based attacks are more fun for me, at least. Like, I love zapping things with thunder and stuff. It definitely feels like there are a lot of magic-based talents that are more fun than the physical-based ones.
또 러브레터네?
Dark Diviner does kind of have that feeling where it's like, at least I think with the Thunder Blight skill, you just press it and it just makes all the enemies die. It is kind of like an easy Arcana to use. I think it's useful for certain missions because of its range and stuff like that. Like, I love using it for commerce and stuff, but there's not a lot of skill behind it, yeah. I enjoy Arsenal Gunner more because, like, you actually have to, like, use more of the skills and stuff. And also, like, all the normal dual gun skills are used pretty frequently, too.
다음 분.
Alright, let's go meteor some zombies. I don't really like Baltane missions that much. I only like Nowhere to Run because it's very, very simple and it's a very effective way to level up. But in general, I'm not a huge fan of Baltane missions. But it's good when I want to level up an Arcana. So let's see, we're going to use that XP pot. That speed potion. I want the bunny to pick up the gems the zombie drops, and we are good to go. I have the crystal in use. Elite. And there's the pass. Whoops, wrong skill. There we go. I forget what the Grandmaster Cleric effect does. I usually keep the Grandmaster Merchant one active because I do a lot of commerce and trading and stuff, so it's helpful for that. Oh yeah, and I'm also one of the few players that actually likes the screen shake thing. I think it makes Fireball feel a little bit more realistic, but I guess a lot of players don't like it. It is nice they have the option to turn it off, though. Alright, time to spam meteor. Time shift. 1. Oh, whoops. That fallback took one of my meteors. Well, we'll still have 4 of them, that's fine. Four meteors, and we are pretty close to a boost to use another meteor. Oh wait, we have one left. Let's get these guys. And some HP. And what else? And some MP, and some stamina. Because Forbidden Alchemist leveled up. That big 5 times XP potion is making this go way faster than last time. Like, we're only 5 minutes in and like level 146. I think I was about that level around the 19 or 20 minute mark last time, so this is going like 5 or 6 minutes faster. Oh wait, now we're getting 0 XP. Okay. I guess the game doesn't want me getting any more XP from this mission. That's fine. I got a lot of levels out of the 2 runs I did on this. But I do still want the remaining gems here. Let's push these guys out of my way. The Star Sapphire. What else is out here? An emerald. Let's go get that too. I think that's it. Yeah. Alright, so I'm not sure. I forget what level Forbidden Alchemist was when I even started the first mission, but I think it went up like about 5 levels. I think it was around level 30, so a little bit of progress. I'm just leveling this Arcana for the for like the stats, for leveling the skills. So since we're gonna do veteran content next, I'm going to switch back to Arsenal Gunner. Oh, and I guess I can't do that in the Avalon Gate for some reason. So we'll exit. And now we'll switch. Oh, and convenient that I'm in Dumbarton because I want to pick up both the daily dungeon and the daily veteran dungeon. Let's go and cancel the bunny summon, we don't need that one anymore. Math dungeon today. For the regular one, so I'll use the unlimited veteran foamer pass for that. And then we'll do the official veteran dungeon as well. Kind of hoping it's berry dungeon. That'd be fun. Alright, what did we get? Hey, berry dungeon, nice. Alright, so let's do this. Switch gear, and staff is the second equip, and dual guns is the first. So I'm mostly going to be use arsenal gunner stuff, and then I'll keep my staff equipped so I can use meteor whenever I have it available. So let's go do Berry Dungeon first. I don't think I have any more speed potions, do I? I chose to use up my Pan support selection box to get the Baltane crystal instead. That's alright. Won't go that much slower. Oh, and I like to keep the status effect list open when using Arsenal Gunner, because then I can see how long Gunner's Crest has left. How long does the Irisen cat doll bag have left? An hour? That's fine. That's more than enough. Probably enough to do both vet dungeons. Oh, and let's feed the all those gems that we got from the Baltane missions to my spear, my lance. %. There we go. Almost level 90. Alright, let's get this cleared. Let's try this way first. This is one of those convenient times to use Meteor. Let's get all these guys. Alright, boss time. So let's take this guy down. There's actually like 5 enemies in this room. I guess that one's just barely out of range. How lucky. Okay, he's down. Do that. And then lock on. That one's down, one more to go. And for the last one over there, we're going to get him with 6 meteors. Probably gonna take out over half his health. Here come 5 more. Oh wow, Meteor will probably finish him off, actually. Got him. 18 minutes and 47 seconds. Spirit gems, smoldering thread, a normal gem. And then we also have Math Dungeon for the normal daily dungeon. But clearing it on Veteran also counts, and since I have an unlimited Veteran Foamer Pass, we're just gonna do it on Veteran mode because it'll pay more gold. So this dungeon too. Alright, time for the boss. Well, bosses, this one should have 3. I think. Yeah. And that one's down. Down, one more to go. And done. 22 minutes and 21 seconds. Some smoldering thread, a gem, some spirit gems. And both dungeons are complete. I found like at least 2 fine leather in there, so how much fine leather do I have now? We have 8. Okay, not quite a full stack yet. Let's go to the Arcana Association room and we're gonna make some ice scorched crests. I'll be able to make a lot more tomorrow though. With the with all the tech runs. Because of the near tight. Oops. 750,000 because I got like 818,000, so that's about as good as we can do right now. So we'll make 5. So we have 28 left. I need 8 more Ice Scorched Crests before I can actually level this up to Link 9. And then after that, we'll have Link 10 to get done. But the only other Arcana that I have maxed out is Dark Diviner for the links. Well, actually, that's not true. I have Harmonic Saint done as well, but that's because of that event where you can like get all the links for like old Arcana. It doesn't work with Arsenal Gunner or Forbidden Alchemist, but it worked with the older ones, so I used that one on Harmonic Saint. But I didn't like do these links myself with gold and gathering threads. I only did that for Dark Diviner and Arsenal Gunner. So I can't take credit for that one. Alright, well there's not that much more to do, so we are going to wrap up the Mabinogi stream right around here for today. This will be a short Mabinogi stream, but tomorrow's will probably be a lot longer since we're going to be running a lot of text, plus the Cookie Island dailies, because the Cookie Island event is starting tomorrow. But a little bit of a shorter stream today. All the big stuff happens after tomorrow's maintenance.